What's up everybody, Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Halo Infinite video. And in this video, we're actually going to be breaking down some Halo gameplay footage, talking about what this player did right and wrong. And it's actually a duo partner of mine, so we're also going to be noting things that I did right and wrong from looking through his lens, right? Am I a good teammate? Am I a bad teammate? And we're just going to be breaking it all down so that you could learn everything that you need to get ONYX. But the GameLeap website down below is your best resource to climb to ONYX and above, with in-depth tips, tricks, advanced guides, map breakdowns, and pro breakdowns. We got it all on the GameLeap website, so do yourself a favor and go check it out right now down below. So before we get started, I wanted to do a really special shout out to Chillagen. I just randomly found his stream and I was just watching it and he seemed like a super chill guy, and I just asked him if he wanted a duo and he said yes. Now, he ended Diamond 5 after we were playing and I'm ONYX 1600. You can go check our accounts on Halo Tracker if you want to do that after the fact. You can look at our stats and things like that. And I wanted to break down his footage and he said yes about a lot of the mistakes and tips that he's incorporating, and we can learn a lot from what he's doing right and wrong, including I'm running around there so I can point out my thought process and things I did right and wrong as well. So let's break it down, but do me a huge solid and go check out his Twitch and give him a follow for me, because he's a really sick guy and he basically is letting me roast him on this channel, talking about his mistakes for your benefit. So yeah, anyways, let's jump into the gameplay. So let's see what you do right here. You're gonna nade this guy down here and you're gonna jump. Ooh, this is already a really bad mistake. So let's actually back this up because I really wanted to talk about this. So typically how this starts, right, is you start this map, right, and you're gonna start on the other side or this side, and you want to contest the high ground spaces. So you see, like, I'm spamming right here from this high ground. There's another space you could spam from right here, and then the enemies have this, and basically it's controlling the lanes. When you have these high ground positions, you have the ability to control the lanes of travel everywhere and put damage into enemies that are rotating around the map. So that's really what you want to control. And you should never be chasing down from the high ground unless a kill is 100% going to be confirmable. You're giving up your powerful position, because dropping down can happen at an instant, but chasing up is very difficult. And the fact that you grenaded here, you didn't have any confirmation whether or not you hit this person, and you just give up your high ground just like this. You're not even dropping to the second level. You're dropping all the way down. Watch how this just super backfires on you, because, you know, you're giving up your high ground advantage here. You drop down, the enemy went up, and now you have the low ground. And now you're at a huge disadvantage. You try to jump up here, but look, there's an enemy up in front of you. There's an enemy to your left. There's an enemy flanking you from behind. So you back up here, now you get shot from behind and you run this way, and now you have no idea where enemies are. You're freaking out. Enemies are looking for you. You run this way, and then there's another enemy right there. Yeah, you just, like, you're completely, you're gonna be lost here. And if you just stay on that high ground, you get so much more information. You know where the enemies are traveling. You can contest all these lanes, and it's just gonna be so much better for you. Now, if you get an enemy to one shot, sure, jump down, chase them, and then go tuck with your team. But you should not be giving up your high ground for no value on the table. That's a huge takeaway. So I actually get blasted by a grenade here, and you're gonna come in and you're actually gonna come help me, which is really good. Spam some grenades here. You're just running in and grabbing it and dipping out. It's a little bit risky because enemies are still there, and it might be better for us to fight together instead of running away. And that's actually something that's really important, because I think that there is two people that you deal with a lot when it comes to Oddball, right? The first type is probably the most common, and it's the people that are literally anti-Oddball. Like, they never grab it. They just go run around and slay. And I think that that's very frustrating, because you need to hold the ball to win, and there's so many times when you need to grab it, move it, relocate it. And that's what you should typically do. Is if you want to fight, you need to make sure that you're ushering the Oddball along the direction that you're trying to rotate as a team and push it to better positions, right? And then the other person is the guy that runs to the ball and grabs it no matter what. Think about this scenario. Two people up against one enemy, and one of the two people just runs and grabs the Oddball, and then the other guy loses the 1v1. Like, imagine right here, I'm there, and imagine if I just lose the 1v1 and I die. He's holding the ball, and that person's going to get two shots into him, and then he's going to die. And now that enemy basically 1v2'd us, because instead of fighting and winning the fight and then grabbing the ball, he's just tunnel visioning to the ball. And I'm going to break down some more tunnel visioning stuff later in this VOD. I took a sneak peek, and there's definitely more scenarios where it goes wrong, because right here it works out, but that's only because our teammate comes in and helps out. So so this is actually crazy. You might not know what the fuck happened here, and he didn't know either. It is actually crazy. So look, you see me right there. I'm actually poking, and I'm poking a guy down below, and I'm poking, shooting. I think I shoot him twice, and he grapples in the fucking window and flies through and literally starts taking damage, and instead of running away with the grapple, he flies in the freaking window and smacks my teammate Chill, and at the same time I smack him back. Look, it happens instantly, and you can see it right here. Look, he flies in. He literally flied in through this window, and yeah, it's just like came out of fucking nowhere. It's crazy. So yeah, this is another thing. So like, a lot of times players have problems with like running into enemies and not know where enemies spawn, and they feel like the spawns are random. So look, right here, right? I'm controlling this high ground. I'm dishing out damage, and I'm, you know, controlling the lanes of combat. And there's another teammate near me, right? He sees one right here. So I have to ask you the question, where do you think that allies would, or what do you think that the enemies would be spawning? And if you guess like this entire area over here, you'd be correct. That's where they're most likely to be. They could be like over by that guy, and they could be all around this area because we have no presence there. So the spawner will spawn them in there. And so when you wrap this left side and you run it, you're really playing fast and loose, and odds are you're gonna die, because when you wrap this left side, you should really be walking and expecting to cut off an enemy that's rotating. That can work, but if there's multiple enemies, you're kind of fucked. But you running this basically shows no like regard for an enemy likely to be here, and you're gonna end up dying for free because of it. Yeah, see, like, you just reload, check the scoreboard, run through, and die for free. Really bad. That's like, I think like 2 lives already that you didn't really get any value with. So your entire team's dead here, so you should probably just back up and regroup and try to wait for your team. Pretty good idea too. So I respawn, and it looks like your teammate's respawning. Nice pepper here, nice aim. So this is a mistake that I make. Remember what I just said about jumping from the high ground? I make the same damn mistake. I'm literally fucking yeeting off this thing like a psychopath. Okay, I'm at this point, I think I'm like 5-0 or something, so I'm like feeling myself a little bit too much, but still very bad play, and I should die here. I should die here. The reason I don't die is because Chill helps me out, and an ally goes with me. So you know they both help me out here, and they bail me out. And this is something else that's really important. A bad decision can become a good one if your teammates do it with you. So that's something that is like not, you should not rely on that, because I really should have died. It was a mistake on paper, but my allies did a really good job of turning my mistake into a play. And that can be something that you decide in your games. You see an ally rushing in and feeding, use their feeding to get you a play, or, you know, save them or bail them out. But it's up to you to decide whether or not, hey, I should just cut my losses, because if I jump in after my teammate, we're both gonna die for free. That's your decision, and that's really where you can, you know, turn someone's feeding into a play, and you also know when not to turn someone's feeding into more feeding, right? Nice shots here, spamming the grenades here. It looks like you're chasing this guy down. This guy doesn't want anything to do with you. It's a little risky running this, because the enemy could be waiting around the corner, but it seems like you're just hunting him down, which you are. You know where he's at, and you finish him off. A little bit awkward. Your teammate actually blocked some of your shots, but you got the kill down, right? So I just died to the sword here, and in all fairness, I should not have pushed in like this. I think I started this feed process. I was thinking that I could go push in, and I wasn't paying attention to the enemy having sword, and that's super important. Something I should do, and something that everyone should do, is call out when enemies have, you know, invis, sword, rocket launcher, sniper rifle, mangler even. There's a lot of things that need to be called, and I was not doing a good enough job at keeping track of what we had and didn't have on the battlefield, and it got me killed here for free. I'm running up thinking that I'm good to go. I did a lot of damage to someone. I run in and I die to a sword. Someone else is hiding, and I die for free from the sword. And because I fed, Chill is gonna feed as well. So I started a chain reaction of feeding, and you're gonna watch how my mistake, even though I'm getting a lot of kills here, this was such a bad mistake that I made. And watch, Chill's gonna go in, and now he's gonna make the same mistake I did, right? He actually does a lot here. There's a sword user. He breaks one shields, does a lot of damage here, gets information about where they both are. One thing that I wanted to talk about before we talk about the main topic is that he didn't have any grenades. If he had grenades here, he could control this engagement. He could grenade close, force enemies to fight him. But without him having any grenades, he's kind of stuck here because he can't finish these people off unless he pushes in and there's a sword. So he can't really realistically push in. He's going to do it anyways because he's getting shot in the back. And that's another person that if me and him timed our engagement correctly, I could have poked from the other side and fought these people. And we probably could have wiped them. And then that person really far away wouldn't have gotten at such value. And then also, it's my job to go contest there. See, because I'm right here, I should go contest that person. So I fed in, died, because I wasn't tracking the weapons that the enemy had. And I got baited by a sword that I didn't know existed because I wasn't tracking it. Then he, even though he got a lot of value, which he did really well as an individual, but he's going in alone. And none of us can follow up on him, right? Just like no one could follow up on anything I did. I didn't do much. I just died to a sword, but nothing, no one can follow up. So he's going to die, right? And then we're going to watch right here. Another person dies. So I fed in, and then he fed in, and then our teammate fed in. You see that cycle that needs to be broken, and it's just causing us to lose fight after fight after fight, which is really giving the enemy so much free percentage. Now, I do get a kill here, which is good. We're kind of stabilizing here. We're waiting for respawns. Now, but our another teammate dies. He once again continues the cycle of feeding. He once again continues the cycle of feeding. I do get another kill here, but the thing is, I'm still really far away down left, and Chill is once again pushing in. And this one's kind of on him and the other guy that just fed in, and it's like a cycle of just pushing this alone and again and again and again and again. It's so easy for enemies to control these angles if you're only coming in from one direction. You really need the entire team to be pushing in from multiple directions, and that's not happening at all. So now he's looking around. He actually did really good there looking around, but you cannot get in a melee fight with someone with the oddball. They have faster melee time. They can melee faster than you. If you start the fight with a melee trade, you're gonna lose. He dies for free. Well, there's another enemy with invis that he didn't know was there. But now I'm showing up, and I'm showing up later. At the very least, I got a kill earlier. This guy traded out that kill with a grenade, and then we are all pinching. Look, this is the first time. One's coming from below, I'm coming from here, and there's another ally with me. This is the first time we're pushing in all together, and watch how simple this is. We clean up. 2 kills. Got the ball. Easy clap. And I'm not saying that was just your mistake. That was everyone's mistake. But it's something that you kept on repeating. And it's up to you. Anyone who's watching this, it's up to you to break the cycle. All you got to do is wait, push it with your best player, right? Or something. Push in with the first player. Push in jointly at the same time from a different direction, and it's really going to help these people get cleared. There's so many situations that a single person will get a lot of value, but it's not enough. You need to invest more people into that, and you can set that up yourself and never be one of the people that kind of continue the cycle, the feeding cycle, the trickling in cycle. So this was pretty frustrating from my perspective. I kind of wanted to talk about this. This guy was down here towards you, and you were right here. Now I'm up here with the oddball. No one is guarding or watching the entire other angle. No one. If you have someone that is controlling ball, this is what you really need to be doing. You need to be looking around at any of the entry points to the ball carrier, and you need to do 2 things. You need to try to tag anyone that comes into their space and call anyone that comes into their space. And the reason you do both of these things is if the ball carrier knows who's coming from what direction and that person is weak, the ball carrier can drop the ball and fight, and they're in an advantaged fight. But if I'm sitting there expecting to be protected and I get swarmed by 2 people from different directions, when my teammates are still alive, I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, honestly. And I know that this has happened to you, but if you don't want to be ball carrier, then it is your responsibility to protect your ball carrier. Because, you know, I'm top fragging in this game, right? I could just say, I'm not going to carry the ball. I'm going to go run around and frag. But is that going to help the team win? Absolutely not. And when you are... It's like, with great power comes great responsibility, whatever the hell, for those of you who have been watching all the Spider-Men, like, on marathon and repeat. Anyways, when you're not ball carrier, you have the power to help your ball carrier, and it's your responsibility to make sure that they know when players are coming onto them, and you do as much damage as you possibly can as they are transitioning to the space of your ball carrier. It's really going to help them out, and I promise you, you're going to win more fights because of it. Yeah, so yeah, see, I died for free, then the other guy trickled in and fought by himself and died, and then you died. And see, like, at this point, I'm not trying to be too hard on you here. I know you told me to VOD review you, and you told me to break it down. I'm not trying to roast you, but you have very little. You only have 13 seconds of carry time. I mean, none of us have a lot of carry time. We haven't really been in a position to carry that much, but you only have 2 kills to 6 deaths. A lot of your deaths have been wasted. You haven't gotten a lot of value out of your life, and you've died many times for free. So it's just points that I got to reiterate here. And I know that I'm 1600 ONYX and you're only Diamond 5 and I'm bringing you into higher lobbies and it's harder, but I think that this is a great way to help you improve by breaking this down. And I hope each and every one of you down below have really been learning from this as well. But let's continue. So running around here, I'm getting a little bit nervous. You're running around here by yourself, a little bit nervous. Oh, I do see that you get a few shots on him. And you almost killed that guy. I think you missed like 1 shot too many, and that last shot should probably have been head level, but it was close. It was close. You're poking this guy, grenading this guy. Decent stuff. This is a little risky running in. I do like that grenade. And I also think that you could have killed this guy without trading a melee. You did get the kill, but you could have probably killed this guy by spacing properly and being a little bit more accurate, and you wouldn't have taken that much damage, if any damage at all. You do get the sword, and you do run out of there, which is pretty cool. But you end up right here, and I know you're tucking in, and you're going to get grenaded out. Yeah, so it was a decent effort, honestly. It actually worked out for you, but I think if you would have had more health to work with, it would have been a little bit better. So I like this control of lanes, but I'm getting a little bit worried again. 3 people on the left side. Y'all can't see this. Let me actually move myself. 3 people on the left side, right? Right there. And you're just looking here, standing here. So what's going to happen? Do you think, A, he's going to see all 4 players run right in front of him? There's no even point breaking this down anymore because you know that there's enemies that are going to wrap to his right. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Enemies are going to spawn furthest away, right? So they're going to spawn this way over there. And some of those players are going to wrap this way. We actually see one right there. And some of the players are going to wrap the other way, right on freaking top of him. And they're going to shoot him in the side. Let's see. Yeah, it's just waiting here way too long. Yep, getting shot in the back right now. Someone's chasing you from behind. You're dead. I'm not surprised, and we don't even get a really fair fight. We have this teammate is in the middle of nowhere, doing nothing to help the fight. You died for free. We just got swarmed as a 2-player. So yeah, definitely rough. Now the enemy have sword and they have invis, and I didn't do a great job at calling that out. I should have called that out, and so should you, but it doesn't really matter. It's open. However, Oddball's 2 rounds. We got to focus up and try to get the second dub. So let's see what happens in the second half. So right here, you're kind of looking around sporadically, right? You don't really know where the hell you're going. You thought you would go left for a second, then you're going to go right. That you should think of the plan that you're going to do, like as you're spawning in, like where are you going to go? What are you going to contest? What's your routing game plan? And you didn't really know. And also, you're beelining straight here, like right for this. When enemies just spawn over there, like there's going to be like enemies right here. And you're basically like pretending like they don't exist. And you should know that you're about to be peeked here, which you do. And you honestly should have died. Like the fact that you got to back up there, I mean, there's probably, yeah, you're going to probably die here. Yeah, you died. Yeah. That's another just free death. You routed to the right by yourself, didn't have your gun out, didn't get first shot on the enemy. And you just died for free. Right here, another example, I think this is going to be a tunnel vision example, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Almost killed that guy. So yeah, a couple of things. So what would actually have been a little bit better here is like you can grenade spam these people, but there's a person behind you, and it would have been a good idea for you to look around first before you commit. It's a really great idea to try to, you know, look around and like learn where the enemies are. Because if you just push into this guy and you get shot in the back, you're dead for free. You're in open space with no cover. You're going to die 100% of the time. And that's exactly what happens. On top of that, you're tracking on this guy right here up there. Could be a little bit better. You probably should have ADS'd here. You probably would have killed that person. And then you're going to die for free on the high ground. Just not really good like battlefield awareness, right? You're not really ever looking around before you make decisions. You're kind of jumping from one decision to the next. Grenade spamming this. Wrapping underneath is a little risky. So we talked about this before, but you actually passed by this mangler a second time. You did it earlier on. Yeah, like right here, like this mangler right here. This is, besides power weapons, this is like the most busted weapon in the game. Like, it's definitely worth contesting. And you're just walking right by it, man. Come on, grab the mangler, bro. It's so freaking good. Now, it is right here. I don't necessarily like retreating here. If we look at this back, actually, especially if you grab that mangler, but even if you don't, like this guy's not even looking and you know that you have teammates there and your teammates just got a kill, you should just alpha up and kill this guy. I think that you even have damage advantage and you just run away. Yeah, definitely a fight I would have taken, and then you're gonna die. Yeah, that's really bad. That's really bad. Like, you had damage advantage on him. You weren't confident in your own mechanics and your ability to win that duel. You need to have a certain amount of confidence and ego in your own ability. You had an advantage fight. You backed away. You were indecisive, and then you died for free. You gave this guy a way to kill you, even though on paper, you should never lose that fight. Let's see what happens here. See, this is another example of... I think this is a really important example, because like right here, you're here, and you control this high ground, and you can look around and poke and get a really big sense of the battlefield and do damage and get tons of value here. But what do? Instead, you run straight down and melee this guy and die for free. Like, I don't understand what this accomplishes. You basically just did nothing there, gave up your high ground, gave up your power position, and died for nothing. Wrapping around here. So I see. It was actually funny because I didn't know why this happened. So I see the grenade go far, and I assume that the enemy is going to throw another grenade far. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to push this guy because I did a little bit of damage to him. But he tosses the short grenade. So I'm like, all right, short grenade gets tossed. I take a huge hit, so I back up. And I jump up top and I tuck. And then I almost die to more grenades. And I was like, why? But look. He throws 2 grenades and they both bounce back and almost kill me. Come on, bro. You once again, you leave that a shock rifle. It's another weapon that's worth contesting. I think in general, you don't make great use of the sandbox, right? You don't grab the mangler, you don't grab the shock rifle, you push fights without grenades. Learning the spawns of things and grabbing a lot of these weapons is going to really get you tons of free kills. And it's gonna allow you to clutch up many more scenarios if you do that often. Yeah, so for one, I don't think your teammate ends up sticking him. For one, I don't... Once again, you're pushing someone that has the ball for a melee fight. 2, you meleeed before you actually were close enough to him to hit him. Yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say there. I'm in a really weird situation here where I have ball. It actually works out here. Now I'm jaded. Like, I'm like so worried about my other angle. I think I keep dropping and resetting the ball because I'm like, no one has me from this other angle. Like, look at where you're at. Like, someone should probably be here, but I have no freaking idea if they're coming from the other direction. I got no info. They could come from up here and hug the wall. They could come from down below. Like, I'm just gonna die. But now we see from your perspective that there's 3 enemies, but that would be a good idea to try to relay that in comms. Tell me that there's not gonna be like 3 enemies that pop out of nowhere directly on top of me. Oh, an invis guy shows up, sword guy shows up. This is another mistake that we all made, myself included, where we didn't track what the enemy had. And this is actually an amazing showcase of what you're supposed to do. A lot of people are like, enemies just tuck in there. What the hell do I do? It's so frustrating. They just stay in there, and I feel like I can't get them out. The enemy contested energy sword, contested overshield. You could even get grapple hook. You could get manglers. And then they come and push us with all this powered shit, and we lose. And that is so freaking good, and that's what you should do every single time. If enemies are cramped up in a location without any of the power weapons, then punish them with the power weapons that you can easily grab. And then focus a team fight around that. And then, when the enemy beat us, now they're gonna hold the same position with sword, with some amount of invis, with all these powerful items, and it's gonna be way harder for us to push. So that's my biggest suggestion I give to you, and that's something that the enemy team did really well. Damn, I suck. I got bopped. I was like I was trying to hold the line. So yeah, this is another thing that I saw. Like, I don't know if it's your lack of confidence in your long-range fighting or your lack of confidence in your mechanics, but when you fight this high ground and control the space, this does not mean shoot twice, take some damage and leave. This means fighting for the space, forcing the enemy off the high ground. Now, I know it's an aim test. That's the first thing. But something that you could do is if you know enemies are like up there, for instance, you zoom in and you peek out pre-zoomed. So you're already ready. You're already scoped and you're already like right there, magnified to deal damage. And you stay here. You keep fighting here. You keep fighting for the space. You don't do a little bit and give it up. You fight. Because think about it. You have 3 kills this entire game so far. And consistently, you've just never, ever challenged this high ground. You haven't fought for it. You've basically given it up to the enemy to have the high ground over and over and over again. If 2 shots is all I have to do, if I just have to shoot at you twice for you to leave the high ground, I get to stay on the high ground all goddamn game and get so much value. Someone peeks out, shoot, they're gone. Someone peeks out, shoot, they're gone. Then they have to route throughout the battlefield at some point. I get free shots on them. I get free control. If enemies are pushing near me, I can shoot them as they come near me. I can drop from the high ground, get a free kill. I mean, you're basically playing very, very passively and scared, and you don't trust your own skill. And it's costing you a lot. You did it before where you had advantage and you backed out. You're doing it here where you're not only not incorporating the right fundamentals to get a damage advantage, but you're taking the slightest bit of damage and you're backing out. And it's really making it so the team doesn't have any space. So that's something that's incredibly important. Because, yeah, you just like... I mean, yeah, you're just backing off for free, basically. This is a little risky. I think you actually thought that the enemy was right there when they weren't. You thought that they were right here. They weren't. You could see that they're behind. And it's really risky. So this is something that when this person presents, a lot of eyes are going to be on him. Grenades are going to be flying. It's a good idea to distance yourself a little bit away from your ally. Because if you push in too close together with them, you're going to submit yourself to all kinds of that AoE explosion. Enemies are already going to have their crosshair in that direction. So you got to be pretty careful here. And you're going to actually take... Yeah. You and him died for free, basically. I mean, very little value. You definitely had no value. You didn't even shoot at the enemy and you died. By the way, I'm not trying to be too hard on you. I know you you allowed me to VOD review you. And please, guys, go check out Cho. He's a really, really sick guy. And I think he's going to get really better really quickly. This was probably his worst game of the night, so it's the one I wanted to VOD review. But he's honestly a really good player. He let me roast him and break down his footage for your benefit. Yeah, the least that you could do is give him a follow. Anyways, let's jump back in. So you're doing a little bit of damage here. This is actually a situation where I wanted to talk about... Let's see actually how this plays out, and then I wanted to talk about something. Barely misses out on that kill, but this is something that I wanted to break down because it's actually really sick and really useful. So right here, this right here, I know it's kind of blurry, but this little... So right here, this little box right here, this little electrician's box, if you jump up on, like, jump up right here and hold crouch, you'll actually perch right here. And that's how all of those boxes are. There's a lot of them on different maps, and there's a couple on, like, live fire and things like that. But if you jump up, crouching will raise your foot hitbox, and you can sit right here, and then you can jump and clamber up on this ledge, which is one of the easiest jumps in the game, and it's one of the most impactful. So learn it. You literally can just try it. All you have to do is just jump and hold crouch, and then jump again. Super simple, super easy, and it's a shortcut straight to this high ground. So damn good. You're gonna get pushed here. Close, but just a miss, just barely. But yeah, I think if you would have incorporated that jump in one way or another, you would have actually been able to potentially get a kill there. So looks like the enemy is just about to cap this, and we tried, man. It was close. It was close. There was a lot of little mistakes that added up, and I know that this wasn't your best showing, but I think that this really, you know, emphasizes a lot of the big mistakes, and a lot of players are making these mistakes. Like, you're a Diamond 5 player, and you're doing really well. You're winning a lot of your games, and you're still making these mistakes. So this just shows that even if you're an ONYX level player, a lot of people are making these mistakes, and even I was making a lot of these mistakes. So I think that it's just a really important video breakdown, and I really hope that you learned something from this video. And if you want to get your VOD analyzed, I want either your Twitch or I want an uploaded high quality YouTube video, not choppy, not from the theater. The theater's laggy as hell. And I want no sound if possible, from you. Like, if you have no comms, that's good. No music, no static, whatever. If you do have comms, I can always do it without sound. But the high quality is important. No screen clutter. That's just the really simple stuff that I need. And please, please stop sending me a game where you dominate. I've gotten multiple VODs now at this point where people just send me their best game of the night. That is not going to help you, because the way that you learn and improve is when a good player punishes you for a mistake. Bad players are not going to punish you. So if you keep sending me these games where bad players are not punishing you for your mistakes and you're dominating, you're never going to learn. You're never going to improve. So if you actually want to get better, please send me a VOD that you struggled with and all that other criteria. So just reach out to me at the GameLeap Discord down below. And while you're there, go to the GameLeap website for in-depth tips, tricks, VODs. We got so many breakdowns of pro matches and high-level gameplay. You got to go check it out right now down below.